Good afternoon, my name is Nancy and I am here with another needle felting tutorial, and today I am doing my version of a small little chicken, and these are great for beginners. It's just a couple of basic shapes. This one we did as an oval, or if you want you can make yourself a big fat chicken, just make it a round ball, and then just your arms and your beak, just a couple of basic shapes there. And before you get started, if you're going to be following along, you're going to need your supplies, and you're going to want your felting pad of some sort. This is the first one I think I ever used. As you can tell, I've got a pretty good dent in it. It's my favorite. And now what I use is Polyfill, and this is available at craft stores, Walmart, and I'm showing the bag there. I used to buy bags all the time. And one time my husband and I, we went shopping and found big old jumbo box was actually the better bargain. So if you're going to be doing a lot of needle felting, and if you're comfortable with Polyfill, you might want to invest in the big box. I've had mine for months and I've just barely made a dent in it. And then you're going to want some fingertip protectors. I highly recommend these. Back when I was first needle felting, I didn't have any yet. Oh boy. Trust me, you're going to want them. And then we're going to be using a 3 needle tool. This is what I'm felting my Polyfill with. Then you can buy another 3 needle tool if you want, or maybe use the same one. Now, as you noticed, I've got like a red line I painted on this. This I use strictly for Polyfill. That's just me, just the way I separate my tools. Then I have another 3 needle tool that I use for applying the wool onto my Polyfill. Or you could make your own. This is a single needle. I got this out of like my first ever kit, and then I bought a couple of kits since then. And you know, copying some ideas I saw on some other YouTube videos, I just took and rubber banded the handles, and I made my own 3 needle tool. And this works great for applying the wool to the Polyfill. I actually use this more often. It's just more comfortable for me. And like I said, don't forget your single needle. And then you're going to want, of course, your wool. I'm going to use yellow for the chickie's body. But you know what? When you're making your little chick, if you want to make a purple one, pink one, whatever, make whatever color you want. Got orange for the beak. And then your black for the eyes. And I will show how to make a little while later. I'll show how to make this little top knot if you want to do a top knot. And then, now this is just a, oh, sorry, I forgot, you're going to want a pipe cleaner for the legs, and then you'll need a wire cutter. And then this is just a little trick that I do. Back when I was first needle felting, I'm sorry I don't know who put the video out, so I'm not sure who to give credit for, but I was actually watching a video called How to Make Minions. And they used this method where they took little sewing pins. You might remember these little stick pins from, you might remember those from home ec, or you've got some, maybe your grandma had them. And these are great for like making outlines. And then what I do is I use them to actually hold body parts on. And then it makes it easier to felt on body parts. So you can use those for your chick, or if you don't have those or want something that holds a little bit better, I also bought some quilting pins. These are like longer. And I find, actually I use these like more than anything. I mean, I do use the little ones, but these things are just, they're great because they give you like a deeper hold. And that's just a little trick of mine, just a way of holding on body parts. And then that way you can reposition them before you put them on. Alright. So to get started, get your pad and your 3 needle tool. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go ahead and angle down so that, now sometimes my phone likes to fall over, so hopefully it won't fall over as I'm okay, hopefully you can see my pad. And then what you do is get yourself just a little Polyfill, okay, and we're talking like just a little bit. I mean, you don't really want to start out with that much, you know, because you could try, But then as you're felting, you're not going to be able to get into the middle, and your middle will be like really soft and squishy, and then your outside will be the harder part. So go ahead and start with just a little bit. And a little trick I developed, I have made a video, if you care to watch it, of how to use Polyfill for cores, if you'd like to watch that. And at that time, I made that, gosh, like last year sometime. I had not developed this little trick yet. So you won't see this trick on the video. But I have developed this trick of taking the Polyfill and rolling it, go ahead and like flatten your hands and roll it in your hands and make a ball. And that actually starts, get your ball started a lot faster and quicker. Then slipping on your fingertip protectors. All you want to do is just simply, in between, is just start felting down. Now Polyfill pretty much felts down the same as core wool. And now a lot of people will ask, why don't I ever use core wool? Or, in my videos I don't use it. Back when I was still new to needle felting, and I'm going online, I'm searching for supplies, I'm looking for core wool, this, that, and the other. Okay, I didn't know what I was looking for. I'll just say it. I didn't know what I was looking for. And when I would come across it, now to me, just my budget, core wool was kind of expensive. So after watching a few YouTube videos, I discovered Polyfill. Saw a couple videos of people using Polyfill. So I just got to where I bought some, started using it. Now it takes a while to get the hang of it. I was like so slow when I first started using it. I didn't know what I was doing. But it's just a matter of starting out with a little piece and then just adding, we're talking just a little bit more. And just adding and adding. And all you're doing is just felting down and felting down. Now what I did was, I have a very good friend of mine who's also a needle felter. And bless her heart, she is so big-hearted. She actually, got me in touch with a wool supplier that she uses. And she gets core wool from this lady. And bless her heart, she's setting me up with her to where I can get core wool. Now my friend went ahead and sent me some so that I could try it. And like I said, there's nothing wrong with core wool. I'm not against using it. It's just that even though I now know somebody where I can get it and I can afford it, I'm just such a cheapskate that I'm trying to make it last as long as I can. It was a gift. And I really appreciate my friend sending it. And it's like, I'm just one of those people. I'm just trying to make it last. I didn't want to like use it all up like in 2 weeks or something. So I do use it occasionally for, there's projects I use it on. But for the most part, like I said, being such a tight wad and, being on a budget, I just use Polyfill all the time. Like I said, I've got that big jumbo box. My husband and I went shopping. And we found this big jumbo box. I think I'd gotten it at Joann's. And the thing was, actually, it was on sale too. So that made it even a better bargain, which is why we grabbed it. And like I said, I have not even made a dent on that box yet. So all I do is just keep taking some out of the box, and I put it in my bag and set it over there in my craft area where I'm crafting. And but like I said, Polyfill makes a great money-saving core. Now what you could do too, if you want, in just an effort to save yourself some money, you could just use your Polyfill as your basic core. Okay, and say you wanted to just get yourself a basic core like that started, then you could use your core wool and wrap around that and finish making your chicken body. And you just saved yourself that much core wool. Now some people would be like, okay, that's not a big deal, you're not really saving that much. But for me, if you're a tightwad like me, every little bit you can save, you can save. Okay, now I've got myself a pretty good ball going here. Now what you want to do next is, this is the part where the legs come in. And what I do is go ahead and fold my pipe cleaner approximately in half. It doesn't have to be perfect. And then I kind of like leave it in a little bit of a U so that it's like sticking out. That way it'll be sticking out. And then all you got to do is take just a little bit of polyfill. And we're talking just like a smidgen. And just set it down over the U of the legs. I hope you can see that. And then what I'm doing is go slow and gently felt down your polyfill over the pipe cleaner. Now the reason you want to go slow is say you get going and you're going really fast and you're just whacking away there, you're going to start hitting the piece of metal inside the pipe cleaner, and you could possibly break the tip of one of your needles. So whenever I'm doing the legs, I just go slow and gentle, and then that way if you hit the pipe cleaner, you pretty much like slide off the piece of metal in there, and just go slow and gentle. All right, now you can still see your legs. So what you want to do is go ahead and add just a little bit more, and we're talking just a smidgen at a time. And then all you're doing is just covering up the U of the legs. All right, and that's pretty much all you're doing is just covering up the U of the legs. All right, and then you want to come out with pretty much something like that. Now what I do in order to get my chicken to sit flat is once you get your legs pretty much covered, go ahead and hold it like that. And then you can go a little faster, just like I said, don't get crazy, don't start whacking it really hard. But you could go just a little faster here, and what you're trying to do is form a flat spot, and then that way your chicken will sit. Then all you're doing after you get your initial legs and sitting established, all you're going to do is just keep taking polyfill, add it on top, and felt down. And all you're going to do is just keep building, keep building, keep building. I said do just a little bit at a time, because if you grab like a big chunk thinking, okay, I'm in a hurry, I just want to hurry up and get done, and you put a big chunk on there and you're felting, you're not going to be getting all the way through. So it does take time. Polyfill is something that takes time. I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say you'll get done in 2 minutes. It does take time, but if you just keep building and building, eventually you can, whoops, I said eventually you could do a round shape if you want, or if you just keep going up and up and up, you'll get an oval body. Alrighty. Now the next thing you want to do is just cover with your yellow. And I'm going to show you something I found. Right now as I'm doing this, we're coming to the end of the quarantine of 2020. And over the past couple of months, every time I would go looking for NeedleFelt and stuff and this, that, and the other, as you all probably are aware, craft stores were wiped out. Walmart didn't have nothing on the shelves. And I happened to be in Walmart and I was greatly surprised. I just happened to be looking at yarn. I was looking for something totally different. And I came across, oh, this is so soft. I'm loving this. This is a roving yarn. I found this at Walmart. And I just love, love, love this. It's so soft. I do snowmen a lot. I make snowmen like a lot. And I just love that color. It's the prettiest, brightest white. And I use that to cover my snowmen, which I am planning to do a video on. So be looking for my snowman video. I am planning to make one. But anyway, what I do is I take that roving, and all I did was I dyed it myself with yellow Kool-Aid. Now I do have another video. Actually, my first ever video I ever made was how to dye roving with orange Kool-Aid. So if you would like to look that up and watch that, I'd greatly appreciate it. It'll show you the basics of how to dye roving, and you can dye yarn, like I said, this roving yarn with Kool-Aid. And Now, I have not done a video of the yellow. I was actually thinking of going ahead. I might do a video showing how to do the yellow, because the formula is just a little bit different from the orange. It's basically the same formula, you just need more yellow. But anyway, so you're taking some of your roving, and just like what I do is just start pulling it apart. And pretty much what you're trying to do is just kind of like, I guess you could just say you're just shredding it. Alright, and you just want to loosen it up, kind of shred it up a little bit. And then you're just going to start laying it over the top of your chicken. Just pick a spot, doesn't matter. You can start at the top, start at the bottom, hold it down. Now, you might want to go ahead and put your fingertip protectors on. I do. And then just start felting down. Okay, this is where I'm going to switch. Grab the wrong thing. I switched to this because, like I said, it's just easier for me. And like I said, the 3 needle tool you saw me using to felt the polyfill, like I said, I use that strictly for just felting polyfill. And right now, there is a jet going over my house. You all might be hearing a jet in the background. I'm not sure if my phone is picking up on that. We live right by the Nellis Air Force Base, so you might be picking up on a jet. There we go. And just keep felting and felting. And it's really simple to cover your polyfill. Now, I will say one of the tricks of the polyfill too, when you're, forming your shapes and this, that, and the other, and you're felting and you're getting your shape, try not to overdo it, because actually it will kind of make it a little hard. Okay, so you want to be able to just apply your wool like that. Okay, and then just, I'm finding the end here. I'm just tearing off another piece. Now, to make this easier to tear, you actually want to hold your hands a little bit away, because if I was like trying to tear it like right there, you can't. I mean, it's like really hard to tear. So hold your hands a little bit away, and then just take, like I said, just kind of like pull it apart, kind of shred it up, kind of fluff it up. Alright, and then pick another spot. Now what you can do is kind of spread your legs there. Alright, felt that down. And it's really simple. It just hello. I figured that would fall sometime during the recording. There we go. Okay. See if I can get that balanced. There we go. Alright, and all you're doing is just, just keep applying yellow, just keep applying, get your bottom, and just apply your yellow all the way around. Now next, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and I'll show you the arms first. Now this is what I was talking about using your needles, your pins, I'm sorry, is I have the arms pinned on here. Okay, I went ahead and just pinned them on. And then that way, when you go to, oops, pin I didn't see. Okay. That way, whenever you go to pin them on, and you're getting them all lined up, okay, say you put it on, and you're, then you can look and be like, oh, wait a minute, that's a little bit too high, and you can move it down. Okay, so I'm going to put the arm back on. Okay, and then all I'm doing is, like I said, just taking my pins, just putting them in. Then, like I said, whenever I go to felt these on, it'll be so much easier. Okay, now the way to make the arms and the beak are pretty much the same principle. Okay, here's some arms. I was, pre-making, I practiced a little bit. Okay, it's basically the same principle. Let me just show you the beak first. And all I'm doing is taking just a little bit of orange. I mean, we're talking just a smidgen. And that's one of the things of needle felting when you're first learning how to do body parts and details and stuff. always start out with a little bit less than what you think, because you can always add more. Now what I'm doing is just kind of fluffing this up a little bit, and then just try to fold it into a triangle the best you can. I'm just folding it into a triangle. There we go. Okay. Then, now you might want to put your fingertip protectors on. Now me, myself, I personally cannot like hold on to small parts with my fingertip protectors, so I pretty much just take my chances and hold it with just my fingers. And all we're doing is just going down the sides of your triangle. Okay, just a second. I think I'm going to have to put another book here to hold this. Just a second. There we go. Alright. I guess as I'm felting, I must be shaking the table just enough. And all you're doing is just going down the sides. Okay. Just going down the sides of your triangle. Then you want to flip it over. You might need to fold in some of your fuzz of the other side of the triangle. Hold it. And it doesn't really take that long to felt this, but it's more than like just 2 minutes. Like you can't just do it like in 2 minutes, okay? I'm just giving you a heads up. It takes a couple of minutes. And you just want to felt and felt down in between your finger and your thumb. Like I said, just kind of go slow, especially for you beginners. And then another thing too, you want to get the point of your beak, so you might want to turn it so that you're holding up the point of the beak. Get that all felted down. And that's just basically what you're doing, is just doing your sides of your triangle, flip it over, do the other side, and just flip back and forth, get the ends, and it'll start stiffening up, and you'll be able to tell when it's like nice and stiff. I mean, you'll be able to tell. Now what you want to do is you've got your little bit of a triangle. Now this fuzzy part here is going to be the part that is easier. It's going to be so much easier to attach that to the chick. So we're going to go ahead and take this guy. Now what I'm going to do, since I'm going to be putting the beak on like that, I'll use my quilting pen because it's longer. And I'm just going straight in, all the way down and holding it. Straight in. Now I'm coming at the side at an angle. There you go, and it's holding on my beak for me. And then what you could do is you can look after you put it on. Like I said, you can take them, hold them back, look at them, say, oh, wait a minute, the beak is too high, the beak's too low, and you can move it. I'm just going to go ahead and just leave it right there. Alright. Okay, and that'll be your beak. Okay. Then for the arms, it's pretty much kind of sort of the same principle as your beak. You're just doing it a little bit bigger. Okay, let me tear off some of my roving here. Alright. Now this you can pretty much just kind of fluff it up a little bit. I said pull it apart, fluff it up. Then what you can do is just actually kind of fold it. And depending on how big the arms are, like these arms are a little bit bigger. And you know what? You see that fuzz right there? I just noticed that. I think a kitty cat got a hold of that guy. I just noticed that fuzz. Anyway, just kind of like fold your wool over to about the size that you want. And then I fold it like this. And actually the tighter you can make it, the better. Until it's like that. Now that looks a little bit big. I kind of used a little bit too much. But that's just to give you an idea. And then like I said, the tighter you can fold it, the better. There we go. I just folded it a little bit tighter. Alright. and that'll be your arm. And then, like I said, just like the beak, hold it, and like I said, gently and carefully go ahead and pinch your arm and just go up and down, up and down. And what you want to do is just go up and down, you know, both sides, flip it to this side, up and down. Like I said, now when you're holding it up like that, be careful, go slow, round off your ends. And that's basically how you just make an arm. I said just fold it into the basic shape you want, and then you just felt and felt till you get it to how stiff you want and how long you want. See, like on this guy here, I made some short arms, and these are a little bit longer, so actually if I wanted to use those, it would look funny, but hey, if you want a, you know, funny looking chicken with long arms, you got long arms, or just use the short arms. Alright, and let me show you how to do his eyes. And that is like so simple. It's just a matter of taking a smidgen, and we're talking just a little pinch of your black, and just roll it in between your fingers like a pebble. And all you're doing is just making a pebble. Now, I will say, when I was first needle felting, and like I said, snowmen were like my first thing that I was like really doing and getting good at and getting the hang of. Snowmen is like a good thing to make, to learn the basics. And I was, whenever I would make the eyes, I would use black to make the eyes, you know, like coal eyes. And then, you know, the buttons and the mouth, I would use, I mean, I would be turned off like a piece like that. And I didn't know. And I'd be like trying to make it small, and it would come out like huge. I mean, we're talking like way too big. I mean, it would just come out huge. And finally, I started learning, when you are, you know, making details and, you know, doing stuff like that, always start out with a little bit less than what you think you really, really, really need. Because you can always add a little bit more. Like I said, just take like a, I mean, we're talking like a pinch. Like, I'm not even sure you can even see that. We're talking just a smidge. Roll it between your fingers, make a pebble. You know, line it up where you want it to go. And then just kind of gently, I'm just kind of like barely holding on, and just pop that down. And what you can do too is the, you know, your fuzzies that are hanging out over the edge of the circle, is take your needle and just like pull in the fuzzies from the outside edge, and that'll make your eye rounder and rounder. It's just one of those things you just need to practice, and you'll come up with a nice round eye. Now, to felt on your arms and your beak, you've already got them, you know, being held on with your pins. All you got to do is simply just hold them down and just start felting like right at the base. Now what you want to do, I hope you can see me doing this, the fuzz, take your needle and pull in the fuzz and tuck it in to the base of the beak, okay? And then on the sides, and what you want to do is just, you know, come in at it at an angle, come at it, you know, up underneath the beak. Sorry, I'm trying to watch myself and do this at the same time. But the fuzzies, like I said, that are sticking out, you'll see the fuzzies. Just take your needle and just pull the fuzzies in, and then just tuck them in at the base. And that's all you're doing, is just felting, 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 felting. And you want to make sure you get yourself a nice, good attachment. And then on your arms, same thing. All you're doing is just... Now here's the good thing about... Okay, I'm going to have to come up with a better system here to balance my phone. Oh, this is too funny. Okay, hang on. There we go. There we go. Now the good thing about the arms is that they're the same color, so you don't have to worry about pulling in your fuzz. Just go ahead and just, felt down the fuzz as you're going around. And like I said, on your arms, on your beak, come at it at the side. Like, you don't want to just do the edges. That won't hold. You want to make sure you're actually getting into the arm and into the beak. Okay? So, like, act like you're going to the middle of the arm and getting the middle and getting it felted down. Alright, and that's just the basics of how to get it all felted. Alright, I'll tell you what, let me show you his little top knot, and then we'll do the feet and we're done. Now for his top knot, now this is just fun, this is just something I like to do. Get yourself a piece of fuzz torn off, but you want kind of like a long piece. And then what I do is just kind of like roll it between my fingers just a little bit, especially in the middle. Just kind of like roll it. Alright, so it kind of like just holds itself. Kind of like leave the ends a little fuzzy. And then you can just pick where on the top of his head you want to put the top knot. You can put it at the top, put it back a little bit, and then what I do is put my fingers to where I'm holding down, and then like right between the line of his eyes, all you're going to do is just felt down the middle of, okay, can you see that? Okay. And then, now very carefully, because you're going in between your fingers, but just go back and forth in a straight line. I'm sorry, I got to turn this to me so I can see what I'm doing, so I don't poke myself. But all I'm doing is felting down the fuzz in a straight line. Okay? And once you start it, get it to tack down and start holding, you actually want to kind of like really start pushing it down in there. Okay. Alright. And just like really start pushing it down in there, and you'll see as you're pushing it down in there, this will start coming up. Now this is, like I said, this is the way I do it. I mean, I just push it like really down in there. I give it a good anchor. And you want to just felt that for like several minutes. And then once you get a good anchor, you can just pull his fuzz up. Now if you want, you could trim it. You could trim it or just leave it fuzzy, leave it messy. Okay? And that's how you make a fuzzy top knot. Now another way you could do it too is, instead of doing the line this way, you could put his hair this way and make your line that way, which is actually what I kind of did on this guy. So, and then I just trimmed them short. Alright, and then for your top knots here, if you want to make a little red top knot. Now I don't have my red in front of me, I forgot to grab red. But to make the top knot, just take your red, and all you're going to do is just get just a piece of red. Like I said, always start out a little bit smaller than what you think. Piece of red. And then what I do is just kind of fold it into the shape. Okay, so that'll be, my top knot. I'm folding it like I did the arms. And then what you want to do is just actually kind of concentrate on just one side and just felt down. Whoops, ow. See, I told you I poked myself. Just felt down, pretty much on just one side. And the whole time that you're felting and holding this, make sure you're pinching. And then you want to get your ends. Okay. Get your ends. Now pretty much you just want to do one side. Come down here. Get this end. Or what you can do is turn it around. Get this end. But what you're doing is just felting and felting and felting. Get it nice and firm. Like I said, do your ends. Like I said, pinch this and hold it tight as you're doing it. Then, once you get it all felted nice and firm, you know, like the beak, like really nice and firm, then what you would do is just set it on top of your little guy. The fuzzy part, put that against his head, and then you would just felt down and attach it to the head. Then as you're felting, as you can tell there, as I was felting, I just went like more right here in the middle, and that's what made the dent. And that's pretty much how you do the top knot. Like I said, I'm sorry I didn't have my red in front of me to show you that, but I hope you get the basic idea. All right, and last we'll show how to do the feet, and I believe we're done. Then make sure you got your wire clippers. Now what I do is I look at how long his legs are, then I fold up just the end, and I say to myself, okay, that looks, you know, like pretty good. That'll be a pretty good foot size. Then what I do is just go ahead and fold it kind of into a V. Okay, and then right there at the where it forms the V, go ahead and clip that. All right. Now this is going to be a short-legged chick. All right. Then, now if you wanted to make him a long-legged chick, go ahead and take another pipe cleaner. You could cut off an end like that and make him a long-legged chick if you want. Then what I do to try to keep it as even as possible, go ahead and lay that there, clip that. All right. Now you're going to have little pokey ends here. All right. Take your needle nose pliers. Okay, I called these wire cutters a while ago, but it's actually needle nose pliers. All right. Now, as you'll notice, I goofed up. My legs are uneven. You know what? If you want, you could leave them uneven, you know, make them look silly, or if you want, you could try and, you know, even them out a little bit. So that was my fault, just not paying attention. There we go. And then at the very, very, very tip, you'll feel that little jagged piece of, you know, pipe cleaner, the metal sticking out. Just take your needle nose pliers and just make sure you're bending over those little teeny ends right there. Okay. And that is something whenever you're needle felting, anytime you're using, you know, pipe cleaners or wire of any sort, please, please, please always bend over your ends. Okay, bend them over and then use your pliers to pinch them. And then I always like check to make sure I got it. All right, let me get this one. Get this one. Now the easiest thing to do on your little chicken legs, okay, is to bend this up into a V. And the easiest thing to do, actually, and I totally forgot to grab my Elmer's glue. I use just good old-fashioned Elmer's glue, like, you know, like you used in school, just good old Elmer's glue, white glue. And I'll bend up the little feet, then holding them up to your legs, hold them up to your legs, just bend up your legs to where they're like the same height. Oh, sorry. Okay. I made that a little bit too long. Just bend up your ends. Okay. To where they're the same height. Okay. Okay, bend them up to where they're the same height. And then all I do is I put a dot of glue there, a dot of glue there, and then all I do is just glue them together. Kind of situate your feet, you know, however you want them. And I just pretty much just glue them on. That is like the simplest, easiest way to do it. Now another thing you can do too on chickens I've had before is you could also do the dotted glue. And what you can do is you can actually take your pipe cleaner, wrap it around and pull it up like that. Now you could, if you don't want to mess with glue, you could just do it like that. Just take the leg of the pipe cleaner, wrap it around the foot nice and tight, and then just bend your little feet up. Hi, Sugar. Excuse me, everybody. Sugar's decided to jump up here. Sugar, come on, get down. Get down, baby. Sugar's she's my little baby cat. And you could do it like that. If you just don't want to mess with the glue, you could do it like that. Just take your leg, and like I said, put your foot on it. I hope you can see what I'm doing here. Wrap your leg around the bottom V of the foot. Bring it up. There you go. And that will form your little foots. You could just do it like that if you don't want to mess with glue. And to make these just extra sturdy, make sure they hold, go ahead and put some glue on the V before you wrap the leg around, and that just gives you extra hold. Okay? There you go. And that is the basics of how you make, or how I make, a little chick. Like I said, these are great for gifts. It's a good beginner project. Springtime, summertime decoration, Easter, or just, just a cute little gift. Alrighty. And I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was easy to follow. And I hope you enjoy making my versions of little chicks. Thank you so much for watching, and have a nice day. All right, Kitty Bit, you need to move. This is Kitty Bit, everybody. Thank you.